Thank you to the Australia Day Council and Australia Unlimited for being bold enough to employ a POM on this very special occasion. And thank you for the sound of the didgeridoo. It made me feel quite homesick. You see, in England, I live next door to Rolf Harris. I get a rent rebate. The first Aussies I came into contact with were journalists. As a conscripted teenage soldier, I found myself in charge of a group of reporters covering the Suez invasion in the 1950s. Now, these were proper journalists, battle-scarred, grizzled war correspondents, not unrated wannabes like the soldiers supposedly looking after them. The most impressive was a fabled Australian called Ronnie Monson. When General Sir Hugh Stockwell, the officer in charge of the invasion force, organised a party to meet the media, Ronnie turned up wearing twice as many campaign medals as the general. He reported wars long forgotten. He'd also been one of the first journalists to witness the horrors of Belsen concentration camp. I looked upon Ronnie with a mixture of awe and envy. He was the kind of journalist I wanted to be. I wondered if I would measure up given the chance, and I was soon to find out. I started my career in television in the late 1950s at Granada in Manchester, where the head of current affairs was an Aussie. His name was Tim Hewitt. He used to play a significant part in my television career, as well as giving me my first insight into the egalitarian ways of Australia. Well, he and a guy called Meb Cutlak, that is. Meb was a newly arrived Australian reporter with a very direct style. One day he had to ring Lord Hailsham, a high-ranking Conservative politician, to try and secure an interview. And being new to the job, he asked me how he should approach the politician. With caution, I advised. I explained Lord Hailsham was an eminent QC called Quinton Hogg, who was not renowned for his love of the Fourth Estate. I said Meb should observe the formalities. He picked up the phone and called Lord Hailsham. Somehow, he got straight through. "G'day, Quint," he said. There was an appalled silence in our office, but Meb got his interview. It was also rumoured he took tea with Quinton Hogg, who no doubt wanted to inspect at close quarters this representative of a strange and plain-speaking tribe hitherto unknown to the noble lord. Now, for someone brought up to conform to the strict boundaries of class and privilege in post-war Britain, to feel inhibited, shackled even, by the limitations imposed by accent, education, and the fact of being a miner's son, for this person to encounter fellow human beings to whom none of these things mattered at all, was a joyous revelation. Indeed, I think I truly fell in love with Australia when, years later, I watched the then Prime Minister Paul Keating put his arm around the Queen. Those who believed it was a terrible lapse of protocol, that Mr. Keating should be sent to the Tower and tried for treason, completely missed the point. Mr. Keating wasn't being disloyal. He was merely reaching out in friendly gesture, one human being to another.